For thousands of years, people have taken advantage of the oldest form of energy, biofuel, to warm themselves and to heat food. In time, people also began to use other sources of energy, above all, to produce kinetic energy. But for heat, people continued to burn wood. Not until the 19th century did oil and coal begin to be used in earnest. Then electricity arrived, with both kinetic energy, light, and heat. Electricity was mainly in the form of hydroelectric power. In the 60s, more and more electricity came from nuclear power and oil-fired power plants. Gradually, the burning of wood decreased in Sweden. Most buildings were heated with oil or electricity. It was convenient. But at the beginning of the 70s, the price of oil skyrocketed, and people realized how vulnerable their dependency on oil was. Moreover, when we burn oil, we burn a non-renewable resource, and in the long term, we raise the average temperature of the Earth with enormous carbon dioxide emissions, creating a greenhouse effect. Biofuel is the general name for fuel that comes from plants, and it became interesting once again. Biofuel includes forest cuttings, branches and treetops, energy forests, arable crops, and some byproducts from the forest industry, such as sawdust and bark. The biggest benefit of biofuel is that it is renewable and is quickly renewed in nature. Biofuel is also good from the environmental point of view. It does not add long-term carbon dioxide because when plants grow, they absorb as much carbon dioxide as they release when burnt or when they degrade in nature. In addition, biofuel contains very little sulfur and nitrogen compared with coal and oil, and the ash can be returned to nature as fertilizer for new generations of biofuel. Especially in northern Sweden, there are large supplies in enormous natural areas that make biofuel an alternative for the future. In larger urban areas in the 80s, district heating plants were built that offered better flue gas cleaning and greater convenience for the subscribers. This also applied to the town of Skelleftea. Skelleftea Kraft is a municipally owned energy utility with a long history. As early as 1908, the power station came online at Finnfors, and after being rebuilt in 1912, it was the largest power station north of the Dalälven River. In time, Skelleftea Kraft owned, or partly owned, more than 20 hydroelectric stations in the Skelleftea River and other waterways. For a long time, the philosophy has been to supply customers, both private and industrial, with environment-friendly energy at competitive prices. At first with hydroelectric power, but gradually also with local peat and forest fuels for district heating. District heating is a way to concentrate the combustion of biofuel, for instance in a few efficient boilers where the flue gases can also be cleaned in a controlled manner. In 1985, Sweden's then Energy Minister Birgitta Dahl officially opened the district heating plant in Hedensbyn, outside Skellefteå.
Glädjen att inviga Hedensbyverken. Det gick vägen.
District heating supplies many of the town's buildings with heat and hot water. It makes the town's air much cleaner since it replaces a great many small oil furnaces. Scarcely 10 years later, in 1994, the board of Skelleftea Kraft AB decided to continue to develop a biofuel combine in Hedensbyn. The first step was to expand the district heating plant into a combined heat and power plant, an economically profitable plant which provides not only heat but also electricity. The combined production of electricity and heat actually utilizes the fuel 1.5 times more efficiently than separate production would. Foster and Wheeler, the world leader in advanced steam boilers for solid fuels, was appointed to design and build the boiler. It was a boiler with a circulating bed, that is, the fuel is raised so that it hovers in the air during combustion. This gives a very high degree of efficiency. It also has built-in particle filters which make it easy to operate. The boiler's total weight is 1,700 tons and it is 35 meters high. The water to be boiled flows through pipes in the boiler's walls, but this is no ordinary coffee pot. The temperature of the steam is 540 degrees Celsius and the pressure is 140 bars. The explosively hot steam goes first to a steam turbine, which was designed and built by ABB Stahl in Finspång. Output is 47,000 horsepower. The turbine drives a generator providing 35 megawatts of electricity. That corresponds to the normal heating needs of 6,500 private homes. After the turbine, the temperature of the steam has dropped to 110 degrees, and the steam goes to a heat condenser in which water is heated for the district heating system. That gives district heating to satisfy 16,500 apartment units. At this point, the steam has cooled so that it condenses into water, which is then pumped back into the steam boiler system, and so it goes. The whole project is dominated by the ecocycle concept. This means that it was only natural to integrate another large plant into the bioenergy combine, a complete mill for wood pellets. An important advantage was that then some of the steam flow from the turbine in the combined heat and power plant could be used for much of the year to dry the moist raw material, sawdust and chips, in the pellets mill. The heat remaining from the dryer is converted into new low-pressure steam, which then goes to a steam turbine and generator in the pellets mill, which provides another 5 megawatts of electricity. The dry material is then ground and pressed into pellets, which are then stored in a large silo before being taken to the large pellet storage at Skelleftea Harbour. From here, much of it is taken by boat to energy utilities, in the Stockholm area for instance. The next step in the development of the bioenergy combine will be to integrate a plant for the production of ethanol and lignin fuel, which can be burned in a combined heat and power plant. Ethanol will be an important, environment-friendly fuel for cars and buses in the future. Sweden's most modern bioenergy plant was inaugurated on April 11, 1997. This plant generates useful energy from our forest raw material in an efficient, environmentally sound way.
Jag ska såga av vedbocken och skicka den med er som åker till Stockholm och så får ni lämna in den på Dagens Nyheters redaktion.
Skelleftea Kraft has made a serious effort to ensure a truly renewable energy source. For that reason, it's important to be careful when collecting waste from tree felling. If the forest is to continue to grow, and birds, insects, and every other living creature to be found there are to continue to thrive, needles and dead trees are allowed to remain, but also some living trees, near waterways for instance, and also 20% of the twigs and branches. Naturally, quite a lot has happened in a few thousand years, but even today, we still get important energy from sticks in the forest, which means that we're not really that much different from our prehistoric ancestors.